Erie Nua education. The existing educational system of the 26 counties differs little from that inherited from the period of direct British rule. Many schools are considerably understaffed. Classes are excessively large, and individual attention to pupils is difficult, if not impossible. The orientation of the curriculum in primary schools is towards minimal literacy. The Irish language, which should enrich the nation's educational system, has been, through government mismanagement and insincerity, placed in an unfavorable light. One major weakness of the Irish language revival as practiced by the 26 county administration is the fact that emphasis is placed on the learning of Irish by the children and little attention given to its being spoken by adults. The secondary education system contains many good schools and dedicated staff. It is largely under religious denominational control, with the result that several problems are posed for the minority religions, unless the members live in a major population center. In the six-county area, the state supports a non-domination system, but the Catholic community chooses to support its own primary and secondary schools. Segregated education, while serving to keep alive the national tradition in one section of the community and preventing the complete imperial indoctrination of the whole population, nevertheless also serves to prolong the interweaving of religion with politics. The shortcomings of the secondary education system are mirrored and amplified by the university system. Relatively meager state support, large classes, poor facilities, crammed libraries, backyard laboratories contribute to a high degree rate of first-year students so that the existing slender resources are wasted. Cramming in school for examinations and lack of career guidance also contribute to this high failure rate. Ireland's oldest university, Trinity College, has in the past contributed many famous figures to Irish scholarship and national leadership, including the father of Irish republicanism, Theobald Wolfe Tone. It is regrettable that even in recent years it has in many respects remained a British-oriented enclave outside the national mainstream. This is one of the side effects of the division of the nation by partition. The next oldest college, Maynooth, has set a high standard of scholarship and dedication. As well as acting as a theological college, it has produced a number of scholars of high scientific standing. The role of Irish-trained priests in the foreign missions is providing education for the populations of the developing countries has not passed unnoticed in these countries. There is a fund of goodwill in this direction which will be of advantage in our future national efforts to break away from the British structure. The National University, although nominally non-denominational, in fact acts as a denominational Catholic higher education system. It labors under severe difficulties from its constitution, which was framed under direct British rule and has not been amended since. One of the features of this is the conversion of university appointments into political contests involving non-academic electoral bodies. Some efforts have been made to make the Irish language a medium of higher education, especially in Galway. This, however, due to lack of funds, has had only limited success. It would appear to be the aim of the 26 county administration to do nothing about this situation so that it can claim that higher education through the Irish language has been tried and has failed. In other areas of higher education, the language is treated with undisguised hostility. Sinn Féin educational policy will aim to ensure the development and equipment of all the moral, intellectual, and physical powers of our children so that they will become God-fearing and responsible citizens of a free, independent nation. The rights of the family as the primary and natural educator of the child, and the spiritual interests of the various religious denominations shall be acknowledged within the framework of an educational system whose philosophy shall be to unify the people into one nation with one national consciousness. Preliminary schools, age 3 to 6, will be established by local communities so that children may have the opportunity of learning social responsibility and becoming familiar with the learning process at the earliest possible age. As in Wales, these schools will have an important role in the restoration of the national language. Primary education from 6 to 12 years will be so organized that no class shall exceed 30 and no teacher shall be expected to teach more than one class at one time. In many rural areas, this will require the acceptance of interdenominational schools. This should present no problem given the level of goodwill which even at present exists in many parishes between Catholics and Protestants, even in the six-country area. Teaching methods will become the subject for scientific research in an educational research institute which will have close contact with the educational system. The objective of this institute will be to continually to improve teaching methods, especially in the case of languages and mathematics, where existing methods are weakest. The key to the restoration of Irish will be its treatment as a living language and not as an academic subject, so that it will be taken seriously by adults. The introduction of Irish to small children whose home language is English will be by newly developed methods so that it will not initially be a barrier to the acquisition of knowledge. For example, the vocabulary of the first year's Irish lessons might be so chosen to provide a medium through which, in the second year, some other subject might be taught. Thus, Irish would become a vernacular of an increasing proportion of the subjects taught as the pupil progresses. This is only one of the many possible approaches. The main idea is that the best methods can be discovered by objective research, and there will be set up a body technically fitted to carry out this research. An understanding of the scientific basis of all crafts, techniques, agricultural, and industrial processes, as well as the natural processes at work in the world, will be developed at an early age. The teaching of geography will be broadened in order to do this. Expeditions outside the schoolroom will help to convey the idea that knowledge is more than the content of books. A wide range of non-obligatory subjects will be available, including physical training, art, music, handicrafts, and drama. Discipline will be imposed by methods other than corporal punishment. The learning process for small children will be made an interesting and exciting pastime. The salary, conditions, and professional qualifications of the teachers will be raised and made commensurate with the nobility of the task that they undertake. Examinations will continue to play a part, but they will be redesigned in such a way as to play down memory work and to reward originality and initiative. The existing largely denominational secondary educational structure will be encouraged to become interdenominational in areas where minority education facilities are absent. It will also be encouraged to broaden its scope to include crafts, technology, science, including agricultural science. Every school will be encouraged to develop relations with particular farms and factories, enabling practical experience to be gained. The vocational education system would also be broadened to include all the subjects normally regarded as being the preserve of secondary schools. The ultimate objective will be to establish a universal, comprehensive post-primary system for all up to the age of 16. This will range from fully secular through interdenominational to fully denominational according to the historical background of the school. The teaching orders would continue to carry out their dedicated work within the broader framework. The present competition between lay and clerical teachers for senior posts would become an anachronism. There would be plenty of room for all. The Irish language will be an obligatory subject and the first language of all schools. The whole educational structure will be gradually made bilingual and ultimately Gaelicized. This process would of course be slower in the 6-county area where little groundwork has yet been done. The level of qualification required of teachers would gradually be raised to the honors university degree. Libraries, debating, and dramatic societies will have a place in all post-primary schools in order to encourage initiative, self-reliance, and self-expression. Creative work rather than passive appreciation of works of others will be encouraged. Above all, it will be the duty of the school to instill a sense of national purpose and achievement, to develop an understanding of the nation's history and the part played by both native and settler stock in the molding of the national character, to avoid all idea of a national stereotype, to develop the idea of a many-sided and rich national culture. The concept of Ireland having a place among the nations of the world will be developed, making use of films and television. Teachers will be encouraged to develop novel and original methods in collaboration with the Educational Research Institute. Inspectors will be expected to seek out this type of initiative among teachers and see that any new ideas with positive content become generalized. Career guidance will become part of the program of every school. This might include discussions with people prominent in the newly developing areas of the national effort.